filed in support of the motion, wherein I adopted and argued the three jurisdictional issues submitted to your Lordship for your determination. There was also a further and better affidavit and my reply on points of law filed in answer to the respondent's counter affidavit and written address. My Lord, I respectfully urge your Lordship to deem all these processes as argued and to grant the reliefs exactly as set out on the motion paper. And in a brief overview of what is contained in my motion, my Lord, my contention is very simple. That ab initio, this court lacks jurisdiction to try me, that this very court is a material defiance of an appellate court judgment, the Supreme Court, with specific regards to count 7, which does not exist in the laws of this very country, and which the Supreme Court mandated this very court to amend. That hasn't happened. The presence of count 7 on this.
Before we dive deep into the gist of the day, if you haven't already, please do me a big favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our real-time updates. Today, November 20th, 2025, the Federal High Court in Abuja was supposed to be a place of final judgment. But instead, it turned into a dramatic stage, and I am here to give you all the sweet gist. So, the headline we are all talking about is this. Breaking. Justice. Omotosho dismisses bail application of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. But my people, that is just the small part of the story. What actually happened in that courtroom today is a full-blown drama that you need to understand from the beginning. Now, let's rewind a little so everyone can catch up. Nnamdi Kanu's case has been going on for 10 whole years. Can you imagine? It started when he was 45 and now he is 55. The case has been moved from one judge to another. Judges have recused themselves and it finally landed on the table of Justice James Omotosho. The Nigerian government is accusing Kanu of terrorism charges, like issuing illegal sit-at-home orders and inciting violence through his broadcasts. But Kanu has always said he is not guilty. Now, here is one of the biggest issues that has made this case so controversial, both here in Nigeria and internationally. In 2021, Nnamdi Kanu was brought back to Nigeria from Kenya. But how was he brought back? His legal team and many international bodies call it an extraordinary rendition, which is a big grammar for saying he was allegedly kidnapped and forcibly brought to Nigeria. This action was so serious that a Kenyan court declared it illegal, and even a United Nations group said he should be released immediately. Just last month, his international lawyer from the US, Bruce Fine, wrote a strong letter to Justice Omotosho. He told the judge that the government cannot benefit from its own criminality and that continuing with this trial would make the judge complicit in that crime. He even warned the judge that he could be vulnerable to prosecution at the International Criminal Court. This letter set a very tense stage for what was to come. Now, back to the courtroom drama we had today. The day was set for Justice Omotosho to deliver his final judgment, but as soon as the proceedings started, Nnamdi Kanu, who is now representing himself, stood up and began to move several last-minute motions. He asked the judge to refer the case to the Court of Appeal and to grant him bail on liberal terms. He argued that the court had waived his right to file a final written address and that one of the charges against him does not even exist in law. But the judge was not having any of it. Justice Omotosho dismissed all his applications. He said most of the issues Kanu was raising had already been raised and addressed before. He specifically stated that the bail application was not meritorious and that the law does not allow for a stay of proceedings in a criminal trial. And with that, he dismissed the bail application. This was the moment the tension exploded. As the judge insisted that he would proceed with the judgment, Nnamdi Kanu lost his temper. He began to protest loudly, insisting that he had a right to be heard and to file his address. There was a back and forth, with Kanu refusing to release the microphone and the judge pleading with him to comport himself. The situation became so unruly that Justice Omotosho made a big decision. He ordered security agents to take Nnamdi Kanu out of the courtroom. My people, imagine the scene. They led him out and the judgment proceeded in his absence. So, Nnamdi Kanu has been taken out of the courtroom for disrupting the proceedings. The atmosphere was incredibly tense. Justice Omotosho then proceeded to deliver his judgment on the terrorism charges against Kanu. Now, my people, here is the big twist. After all the drama, after all the legal arguments that have lasted for years, Justice Omotosho looked at the evidence presented by the Nigerian government, represented by the Attorney General of the Federation, and he found it lacking. Yes, you heard me right. The judge dismissed the entire 15-count terrorism charge against Nnamdi Kanu. He said that the government failed to prove its case. He pointed out that the evidence provided by the government was not strong enough, and most importantly, he ruled that the infamous extraordinary rendition, that forceful bringing of Kanu from Kenya, was illegal and a violation of international law. This is a massive victory for Kanu's legal team. The court has essentially said that the government's approach to this case was flawed from the beginning. However, and this is a very big however, the story does not end with Kanu walking out a free man today. Why? Because the federal government had a second case running concurrently against Nnamdi Kanu. While this first case was about terrorism charges, the government also filed a separate, fresh application. In this new application, they are asking the court to allow them to keep Nnamdi Kanu in detention indefinitely, even if all the charges against him are dismissed. Their argument is based on a section of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. They are claiming that Kanu is a security risk and that if he is released, he might jump bail or continue his activities that threaten national security. So, even though he was just acquitted of the terrorism charges in one case, the government is using another legal avenue to ensure he remains in the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS. This, my people, is where the real conversation begins. This legal maneuver has sparked a huge debate. On one hand, many people, especially from the southeast, and human rights advocates are saying, how can you acquit a man of crimes and then turn around to say you want to detain him indefinitely? Is that not a contradiction? Is that justice? On the other hand, the government and many other Nigerians are concerned about the security implications. They argue that Nnamdi Kanu's words and the activities of IPOB have led to violence, loss of lives, and economic disruption in the southeast through the enforced sit-at-home orders. They feel that releasing him could lead to more instability. So, what is the next step? The case has been adjourned. Justice Omotosho will now have to hear arguments on this new application from the government. This means the legal battle is far from over. Nnamdi Kanu might have won a major battle today by having the terrorism charges thrown out, but the war for his freedom continues. This is a classic case of the law versus politics, of national security versus human rights. It's a very complex situation that affects the unity and peace of our country. What do you think about this? Should the government respect the court's dismissal of the charges and release Nnamdi Kanu? Or do you believe that the argument for national security is strong enough to keep him in detention? I want to hear from you. Let's have a peaceful and intelligent conversation in the comment section below. And that, my wonderful audience, is the full gist for today. Thank you so much for staying with me until the end. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you learned something new, please don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Share your thoughts in the comments and let's talk. Until next time, stay informed and stay safe. Bye-bye.